So getting your first bicycle and learning how to ride it is a rite of passage for almost all of us. Despite the marks and scabs from falling from our bicycles whilst learning, it is a memory we always cherish. Bicycling is quite a useful activity in the hustle and bustle of today's world. Bicycling allows us to exercise our muscles, cut back on fuel consumption as it's quite a popular alternative to driving a car, and also the ability to feel the wind in our hair. The United Nations established World Bicycle Day for many reasons. As basic as it is, the impact of the bicycle on society is quite transformative. Even the poorest people get access to basic transport with the bicycle. So, are you a bicycle rider, Manny Money?
Yeah, I love riding bicycles.
Really?
Yeah, whenever I can, which sometimes can be maybe like twice in a year.
Really? Yeah. Nigeria's not really an
Yeah.
environment for bicycles. I mean, I remember, so I'm an 80s child. So BMX was all the rage when I was growing up, and I wanted a bicycle. I finally got the BMX for my birthday. I rode it, I fell off it, and I never got back on it. So till today,
Imagine.
I don't know how to
Really?
ride a bicycle. So
No,
I can skate.
I can ride a bicycle very well.
No, so I just
Yeah.
never tried and never got back on it. So even now, trying to teach my son as well, I'm making that conscious effort to say, okay, I'm going to teach him to ride a bicycle and, get him not to be like his mother and be able to ride a bicycle.
Yes, I
But
think you should do that.
I think given the topics that what is in the news at the moment with the Okada ban and, the stories that we're going to take in a minute, I think it's nice that today's World Bicycle Day and we can maybe start to look to bicycles as solutions for people who are talking about ways to get around in the face of no Okada. But anyway, I'll let you take your story first.
Okay. Okada riders sue Lagos State government. So the Lagos State government has been dragged to court by trustees of Motorcycle Transport Union of Nigeria following the ban on operation of commercial motorcyclists. That's the Okada riders, they are fondly known. So defendants in the suits are Lagos State Attorney General, Commissioner for Justice, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos State Task Force, Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, and Commissioner for Transport, Lagos State. So aside from asking for a declaration that the ban on commercial motorcycles is illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional, the applicants also asked the court to declare that the purported proposed ban on commercial motorcycle transportation in Lagos State by the governor without hearing from the operators whose rights are affected or likely to be affected is a violation of the constitutional rights of the applicants to fair hearing provided for in Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They also prayed for a declaration that the ban on the business of commercial motorcycles transportation in Lagos by the government is a violation of the rights of the applicants guaranteed by Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution, who cannot be alive without food and other means of sustenance, and whose income is the business of commercial motorcycle transportation. So they prayed that the government to restrict Okada operations on major highways to approved areas rather than banning their operations outrightly.
So before I take that, I take my comment about the story, I'm going to speak because my story is linked as well. And my headline says, Lagos begins crushing of 2,000 impounded Okadas. So it says the Lagos State government today, Friday, began crushing the apprehended vehicles. So in the 72 hours since the ban commenced, 2,000 Okadas have been seized, and the government's approach to ensuring that these bikes don't make it back onto the road is to crush them and essentially ensure that they're no longer usable. Now, whilst this is one solution, there is the phrase that says there are many roads to get to a market. They say they're doing this because somehow in the past these Okadas have always wound up back on the road.
Yes.
And I mean, I've said this before, where I think that this ban is an unimaginative solution. But what makes it worse is that in an economy like this, where you've seized these, first of all, you changed your policy, so you banned the Okadas.
Yeah.
So you've thrown a whole industry. This is who the people that are suing, right? The motorcycle transportation part of your transportation industry. You've essentially taken the legs out from a certain set of them in these 6 local governments. Now, yes, you've issued a ban, They broke the law. It was impounded after the ban, according to the story. But here's my question. When you decided to put a ban in place, how did we expect these people to recover? Some of these bikes are leased, they're on hire purchase. People have spent money to buy the bikes. Now, you crushing 2,000 bikes, I think those bikes average, I think they said about 400 or 600,000 for one. You crushing 2,000 bikes, think of the Naira value, even with depreciation, think of the Naira value of these bikes. How could we have been more creative? There are other states that haven't banned Okadas. There are other local governments. Maybe you say, okay, let's take Lagos off the table because maybe eventually the government will ban all of them. But could we not generate some funds from these bikes rather than just destroying them? And then the people who are now suing the government, was there engagement that said, okay, we will compensate you? It's just like today, if the government is going to build a road and they're going to break your house, they require, there's some compensation. Do we have a conversation that says, you know what, we're not just going to take away your livelihood without having a conversation from where we go from here? Can we give you something? Is it a token to say, okay, let's get you started? Or can we even talk about building your skills in something else? But let's do something to support these people. It's not just about taking away their source of income, because we've talked a lot of the times, and the last couple of times that we've talked about this, we keep talking about the impact on insecurity, crime, but these are people, and we have to apply some level of empathy to their plight. Whether you think that they're a blight on the roads or traffic or whatever, they are still human beings. So I just find that when I saw the story where crushing 2,000, I'm like, how, like literally, why? You could you not even think about neighboring African countries and maybe we could say, like, it just is so unimaginative. Oh, it's like the government is just saying, no, we can't keep law and order. We seize bikes, but we know that somehow they'll get back onto the street, so let's destroy them. But anyway, I just find it...
For me, I'm going to sound kind of heartless now with what I'm going to say, but I'm a lawyer, so I just go straight to what the law says. Section 46 of the Lagos State Transport Sector Reform Law 2018 and Section 15 of the regulation prohibits the operation of motorcycles and tricycles that are 200cc engine capacity, that's lower. And if you have to, it has to be for mail delivering, that's dispatch riders. It must have that box, the mail box at the back of it. So
when the bikes came into play, I hear you, and the law is the law. But if the government allowed Okada riders, if this law has been in place since 2018,
yes,
and the government allowed Okada riders to get to the extent where we can seize 2,000 in a few days, then you've already failed at implementing the law.
They are not even denying that.
Hey, so that's my point.
No, what I'm saying is the fact that they've already failed doesn't mean they should keep failing.
So you are a lawyer,
yes,
right? So how many people know that this law exists?
So if ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Exactly. So my point is, you want to uphold a law. You make sure that the law is there. Don't forget that this is not the first time it was banned.
The law is there. It's because, yes, we know that the issue we have in Nigeria is execution.
Exactly.
So we have that.
So there's a failure point. Now, when you have failed, you can't impose your failure on somebody else. You have to be able to... There's give and take. These are human beings. So you failed, you can get away with failing with no consequences.
But guess what?
Which is why it's good they're suing them. You can get away with... Yes, because you can get away with failing with no consequences. So you've woken up now in 2022 to decide now you must ban.
See, the motorcycle was never part of the master plan for transportation in Lagos State. It was never part of it. You understand? So now there are laws backing that up as well. It is what it is.
Well,
as heartbreaking as it is what it is.
You never can win an
argument. And then when we look, no, honestly, when we now look at the increase in crime rate, we look at loss of property, loss of lives.
It's okay.
No,
it's okay. Like I said,
I think it's a good thing.
Let's take a short break and let's come back to our topic for today. Please stay with us.